Pleased to be joined by a good friend of ours here at DraftKings and host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. As you would imagine, it's Ross Tucker, former offensive lineman. Ross, how are you?
Adam, I am fantastic, man. Thursday night was amazing. Here we are, week one, Sunday in the National Football League. I live for this. It's been a long time coming.
You're not kidding. Let's start with Thursday, because if the whole season, the regular season, is even half as enjoyable as just that one game sample, we are in for a real treat. Dak Prescott comes back and clearly looks like, nothing changed. Passed for north of 400 yards. Tom Brady, even at 44 years old, is out there throwing the ball for 300 plus, hitting the bonus for those on DraftKings and throwing for 4 touchdowns. Ultimately, as is typical of a Tom Brady 2-minute drill, they win that game 31-29 against Dallas. What'd you learn from that one?
It's so funny, by the way, that you say that, because as soon as Zerline makes the field goal for the Cowboys, you're like, okay, well, Brady's going to come in and the Bucs are going to get the field goal and they're going to win, because that's just what always happens. By far the biggest takeaway, Adam, moving forward from that game is Dak Prescott. Right? I mean, coming off the ankle surgery, we knew about the shoulder during training camp. There is no way I thought he would look that good, play that well against the Bucs defense that the last time we saw them made Patrick Mahomes look mortal. So when you're talking about for DFS with Dak, for the Cowboys, betting them moving forward, for the NFC East Championship, man, if you're a Cowboys fan, this is probably about as good as you can feel in a losing effort.
What about for the defending champs, though? They go out, obviously, take week one, and it wasn't easy, but like you said, Brady's Brady. I mean, even at 44, and I can't say it enough, just seems like they has found a permanent fountain of youth. Is the quest to repeat something that you're going to be maybe most in tune with all season?
Well, absolutely. You know what's crazy, Adam, that really jumped out to me? Just how well Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski played. How good those guys looked. They had Mike Evans. They had Chris Godwin. But those phone calls that Brady made last offseason to get Gronk and to get AB, those were the stars on Thursday night. Those are the guys that made most of the plays for the Bucs at the skill position. It's a good thing they have those guys. And for me as a former player, I'm just blown away that those guys, all three of them, Brady, Gronk, and AB, can all still be playing at this high of a level, after this many years.
Real easy for Pats fans to watch, I'm sure, on Thursday. Let's get into some of the Sunday spreads, though, and a team that obviously you love to talk about, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, he was obviously an MVP candidate last year. He is, his team is favored by about a touchdown in this game against Pittsburgh. What are your expectations? Will the Bills cover at home?
I think they will. I would lay it, Adam, with the Buffalo Bills for a couple different reasons. Number one, this is the most excited Bills fans have been about a season in, 25 years. That place is going to be bananas. I mean, out of control. And the Steelers have a totally new offensive line, including rookies at center and left tackle. That's not good. Now, they might be able to get better over the course of the year, but that's a tough spot for that new offensive line. Even Roethlisberger said this week that they are a work in progress offensively. You know who's not? Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I'll lay the points with the Buffalo Bills.
You've spent certainly a healthy chunk of your media career covering the Eagles, and they are taking on Atlanta in Atlanta. And this is sort of a somewhat remade Falcons team, as we know. Kyle Pitts is there. Julio Jones is gone. The Eagles, they are dogs in this game. Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, kind of a quarterback in question for a lot of people out there. Can they cover? Can they have an upset?
Yeah, I think they win the game outright. And that's not my Kelly Green colored glasses on, because I do their preseason games, or I grew up an Eagles fan. I just look up front at them. I mean, their offensive line and defensive line are significantly better than the Atlanta Falcons. To me, the only way the Eagles lose is if Hurts plays really poorly, if Hurts turns the football over, and Matty Ice Matt Ryan plays very well. I really think the Eagles win this game like 23-17. One of my favorite bets on the board. I think people are grossly underestimating the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Browns Chiefs, Ross. This is expected to be a shootout by a lot of people. Obviously, it's the marquee matchup coming up later today. 5.5-point favorites, Kansas City. No shock there, but what can we expect from this one?
Well, I'm going to take the Browns and the points, and I'll tell you why. Number one, I think the Browns have the best roster in the National Football League, with the possible exception of the quarterback position. I don't know if you can put Baker Mayfield up there with Mahomes and Josh Allen and those guys just quite yet. But the Chiefs have rookies starting at center, right guard, right tackle. Now, the good news is they are playing at home, but that's still a lot. That's a lot of inexperience. You'd like to think Cleveland can give them some looks they haven't seen. You'd like to think Myles Garrett and those guys can make those guys look bad, especially early this season. I don't know if they win the game, but I'll take the Brownies and the points.
I know you've been scouring the DraftKings Sportsbook, looking at the best spreads to take on Sunday here. So what's your favorite bet, do you think?
Well, ironically, we already talked about it. It's the Eagles. You know, I kind of like the Houston Texans getting the points at home as well. That's another one that I looked at. But if I could only pick one, I would go with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you know me, Adam, if I think a team has a great chance to win outright, in fact, if I'm picking them to win outright, and you're going to give me 3.5 points, whatever the line is now, I'm all over it. So give me the Eagles in the Battle of the Birds.
Maybe the answer to this one's another game that we already talked about, Kansas City and Cleveland here. But what about a game total that stands out to you?
So I'm going to go under on the Patriots and the Dolphins. It's still two young quarterbacks, two relatively inexperienced quarterbacks, two very good defenses, two coaching staffs that know each other extremely well. I just don't see either Tua or Mac Jones coming out and putting a lot of points on the board. Now, I know this total's been falling, but I still like the under. This feels like a close to the vest 20-17 type of game for me. So I'll go under on Miami, New England.
Those two guys don't have the offenses they had at Alabama either.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy to say that, but you're right. I always get mad at people like, oh, could Alabama beat the Jaguars? No, they couldn't, but they can have some better players at some of the positions. Yeah. That's for sure.
All right. Well, sports betting obviously is a thing. We talk about it all the time. We love it. It's a big part of this show. But in addition to that, we have not forgotten about the daily fantasy community, and something that we asked you all the time last season. You delivered more often than not correct answers as well. Who jumps out at you, a guy or two for Sunday here in week one that you think is going to perform really well in DFS?
All right, so I'm about to blow your mind. All right,
I'm ready.
When I play DFS, I play to win. I want the money. Okay,
sure.
I'm going to take a quarterback that nobody else is going to take. Tyrod Taylor.
Wow.
Houston Texans, Tyrod Taylor. You know why? Because nobody else is going to take him. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs 5 to 8 times, maybe gets a rushing touchdown. I do not think the Jaguars defense is very good. I think the Texans have a chip on their shoulder. Everybody thinks they're going to stink. The whole Deshaun Watson situation. I actually think Tyrod comes out and plays well, puts up some numbers, maybe good enough numbers that if you're the only person that has him in your lineup, you cash in on some of the big dollar prizes out there.
You see, like you said, low owned, so differentiation for the GPPs, it's a perfect fit. Before I let you go, let's circle back to the world of sports betting and talk about the Monday night game. You got the Ravens and the Raiders. It's an interesting one, especially given where we sit in this very moment, looking at this Baltimore backfield and all those season-ending injuries. But what's a bet that you really like from that contest?
Well, I like the under, and I liked it even before what happened to Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters. I've liked the under all week. First of all, the Ravens, I mean, the offensive line hasn't played together. They're all on IR. The receivers are a mess. Lamar hasn't had a chance to get any timing down with them. I don't see the Ravens coming out and putting a lot of points on the board. However, their defense is awesome. I mean, Wink Martindale, their defense against a revamped Raiders offensive line, I don't see the Raiders putting up very many points either. I think the Ravens will be in the backfield all night long after both Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs. I love the under in this one. One of my favorite bets of the week.
And just on Baltimore real quick, just look into your crystal ball for me, because I think a lot of people are wondering out there, maybe even for season-long league purposes, with Lamar, he's going to be Lamar as long as he stays healthy. He's going to rush the ball a ton. He's going to do real well. He'll probably rush for 1,000 yards for the third time in his career. But with J.K. Dobbins down, Gus Edwards down, I know people want to talk about Tyson Williams, but now adding, at least right now, Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman, Latavius Murray. Who do you think of that trio? Who stands out long-term? Who sticks around? Who actually is maybe a featured RB1?
Latavius Murray would be my guy. And it's really simple. I mean, I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it last year. I've seen him do it in the preseason this year when he got some time in the preseason games. He's a big back. He's good out of the backfield catching the ball. I think he's a good fit for their offense. Devontae Freeman hasn't done it in a while. And Le'Veon Bell, I feel like, is a terrible fit for the Ravens offense. I just don't see Le'Veon Bell being a good fit for what they want you to hit it now. They want you to go. Le'Veon's like, patient. Oh, let it develop. No. You got to go, dude. And Latavius Murray will go. He's my guy. He's the guy to have in the Ravens backfield.
All right. Well, the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, if you're not subscribed already, you can find it on iTunes, on Spotify, on YouTube. The man, he is always available to us on our streams as well and during the sweats. Thank you always for joining us, Ross. Look forward to talking to you throughout the NFL season.
Yeah, my pleasure. No matter what hotel room I'm in, Adam, I am here for you guys.
Next time, let's get a chocolate on the pillow.
Sounds good, man.